Very powerful emotion. Anger is a powerful emotion. If it is not handled properly, and you know that, brothers, right? Did it happen to you? It can be very destructive. And it can hurt somebody that is close to you. Amen? It can hurt somebody who is close to you. Uncontrolled anger can result in arguments, physical fights, physical abuse, assault, and self-harm. We know that there are people who harm themselves, not just other people. So therefore, brothers and sisters, a well-managed anger can be useful emotion that will motivate you to make positive changes. So if we love somebody, if we love people, we are going to do something that is positive. Amen? So brothers and sisters, now people realize what the Bible is telling us about love. Amen? All of these testimonies agree with the word of the Spirit that love is essential to life. We need it, even in the church. Love is essential to the church. You know, there was once a story when, before a long time ago in the church, when the Pope Innocent was counting the large sums of money, the collection, right? And he called Thomas Aquinas, one of, and said to him, you know, the church can no longer say, silver and gold I have none. You know, he was quoting to what Peter said in Acts 3:6. You know, when he went to a guy who was asking for money, he said, you know, silver and gold I have none. But you know what Thomas Aquinas said? He said that is true, Father, but neither can she now say, arise and walk. So what does it mean? That the church has sometimes lost its spiritual power because it has become preoccupied with the material wealth. It has lost its love. And it can happen to the churches, right? We know churches that is happening just like that, right? They become less spiritual and they become more material. Because while gaining material wealth, it has lost its love. And wealth, prestige, and we know churches where now they focus more on mga program, how to make more money, what you call this, you know that, right? So that they can get more. But they forgot about the most important thing, which is to share the word, right? We know some churches who are like that. And it's so sad because they forget about the real purpose of the church and its mission. So if you have, brothers and sisters, if you have your bulletin, you know what our mission is, right? Which is to evangelize and to share the word to others. Amen? And I hope our church will continue to be focus more on the spiritual side of our church. Because if we don't have love, if we take away love in our church, it will contradict the message of Jesus Christ. Amen? It will contradict the message of Jesus Christ. Because as we just read in the first few verses, take away love and just our eloquent words that will become meaningless, parang noise. So just like a politician who says, who promise a lot of things, right? But it's not true, it's not real. Then it's like, sabi nga, clanging cymbal. It doesn't have any meaning. It was just something to lure people. Amen? But for us, brothers and sisters, what Jesus wants is for us to love. Because in one occasion, brothers and sisters, when he was in the ministry, Jesus was teaching, and then there were Pharisees who came, the Sadducees, and they tried to, again, to trap Jesus. You know, these people, they are knowledgeable about the Torah, Old Testament. And they tried to trap Jesus, and they said in Matthew 's the verse here, but it's about the part, the title, The Greatest Commandment. It's in verse 34 in, I think, Matthew or yeah, the greatest commandment. There, Jesus was asked by a person who is very, alam na alam niya. You know, that's the problem sometimes, brothers and sisters. There are people who will ask you, they already know, but they will still ask you because they just want to test you. So in this instance, Jesus was asked, he said, by somebody who is an expert in the law, he said, "Teacher, which is the greatest commandment in the law?" You know, this is already the expert, but still he is asking Jesus. So I think it's Luke 34 or Matthew 34, brothers and sisters. You can check your Bible. And Jesus said, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second one is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and the prophets hang on these two commandments." So brothers and sisters, this is not a suggestion, but it's a commandment from God. That everything about the law, if we want to summarize it in the Old Testament, in the New Testament, you just read this and you will have the summary. Because if we love God, we will follow Him, whatever He wants us to do, right? And if we love our neighbor, we will not harm anyone, right? So brothers and sisters, this is the greatest commandment because it covers everything. You don't have to get the detail, but if you have the summary, you know what is right and wrong. Amen? Just like our parents, when they say something, a command, sometimes you think it's not right. It's unfair, right? But in the end, when we grow older and we have our own family, we realize that, wow, that is right. That my dad, my mom said that to me because he wanted to protect me. Amen? The Bible said, "Do not slander or become false witness against a neighbor." Why? He had this command not just for us not to hurt others, but for ourselves. Right? Because when you put other people down, when you put their reputation down, it will come back to you. You agree, brothers and sisters? It will haunt you. Because when somebody learns that you make a false accusation, you will lose your credibility. Right? Nawawala yung credibility natin. People will not believe you anymore. And some may resort to things to get even or harm you in order that the justice is done. Amen? That's why in 1 John 4:8, Jesus said, whoever does not love or whoever does not know God, whoever does not love does not know God, because God is love. Amen? 1 John 4:8. So underline this verse, brothers and sisters. Whoever does not love does not know God, because God is love. If we want to represent God and claim that we are, we should have love, because God is love. Amen? Amen. So, siguro, kailangan hindi tayo masyado magaganti. We should have more love. Amen? So that is my first point. Are we still okay for second point? So point number 2, love is extensive. Love is extensive. When you love, you just don't take the good part of it, but as a whole. Right? Sometimes you just say love, but we just want one side. Love is extensive. See that picture? I just meant extensive. It's so vast. There's so much, so wide. So love is extensive. You know, when God chose David to be the king of Israel, if you go to Acts 13:22, it says, after removing Saul, he made David their king. He testified concerning him, I have found David, son of Jesse, a man after my own heart. He will do everything I want him to do. But you know, when God loved David, he does not love the good side of him, because he also has some shortcomings, right? If you know his story, he also had the dark side. But still, he had taken David as a whole together. You cannot just get one part of him, the good and the bad. When we say that love is extensive, we are also saying that there is more than one component. Meron siyang, he had a passive and active dimension. What do you mean by passive? What do you mean by passive? That means you just stand still and somebody pass by, you just stay put. It is found in the Bible verse that we read that love is patient. This patient word means long suffering. Yung idea na you are persistent. Something is happening, but you are still there. Somebody is pushing you or kicking you or doing something, but you are still there. You are standing still. You are persistent. You are climbing and it's so steep, but still you're persistent. It's like being patient. It's like being patient. Amen? You know, I have an aunt who had experienced a lot. Maybe it's a good thing to share with you. He was a wonderful wife, a responsible wife, but her husband was not that very responsible. He goes out for drink, and he goes home very late. And sometimes you have to pick him up and somewhere in the street asleep. And sometimes he had to go places to hide him. And sometimes the husband got sick because of too much drinking. But still my aunt has persisted. He just continues. But you know, through her persistence, he was able to raise her family. She was able to educate them in spite of the situation. And they grow up, and when I see them, I'm surprised at how they were able to manage to survive. That is persistence, brothers and sisters. That in spite of the hardship and the difficulty, you just hang on. Amen? So maybe some of you had a situation like that. Some in your family is having a pain, but still you persisted, you just go on. You never know. If you are persistent, because of love, things can change. Because, as we said, love does not waver, it persists. Paul said in verse 8, love never fails. So the reason why sometimes a relationship is because either one or the other just fail. But here, if it is true love, it says love never fails. It could mean that love never loses its strength. It's like when we are traveling, when we get so tired, yung naglalakad tayo. Love never loses strength. It endures. It endures. So see how powerful love is, brothers and sisters. If you don't have that, it's hard for a relationship to survive. So here, brothers and sisters, Paul illustrated in verse 4 to 6 that also love does not envy, telling us that achievements of others cannot make love waver. What do you mean waver? Become unsteady or unreliable. In spite of that, the love continues. Paul said love is not boastful or rude or self-seeking. He's telling us